Well, welcome back. Lovely little package has turned up from Angel Wing Designs, and in this package is the Micro Dammit. Now it's not the E version. Andy from Angel Wing Designs has very kindly sent me the prototype slope version for me to have a look at. So I'm going to build that. He has sent me some preliminary instructions, so I'm going to follow those so I can pick up on anything that I can help with on the slope version. So let's see what's in the kit. So here we go. Now, as I understand it, this is some ballast to fly in strong conditions. So I'm just going to take those off out the way at the moment, and then let me just see what I've got here. I've never known a model manufacturer take so much time and care about packing their models. Right, now then, let's see what we've got. Got some stickers and a couple of, they look like the leading edge to me, and look at that, look, there's such fantastic laser cutting, it's fallen out already. Right, now let's put those to one side. So that's what we got in the kit. Ooh, small push rod I can put so safely. Right, so I'm going to put all this away safely, and the first thing we've got to do is carefully cut and join the plan. Oh my god, it's tiny. Eek! It's tiny. I might need a set of binoculars to be able to fly this. Right, so first thing, I'm going to iron this flat, and we're going to get it joined together. Okay, first thing is I have just temporarily got my plan joined, and I'm just checking. So what you're supposed to do is get your plan, lay it out flat, and then before you actually fix it together, just make sure that all your spars, the trailing edge, the main spar, obviously all the notches match. Well, obviously mine does. So that's the first step, is don't sellotape your plan together. Get the two pieces together and just get yourself some little orientation lines so it's all, you're happy that the plan all orientates. Okay, the next stage is we are just pinning the center spar to the plan. I've got two metal blocks to hold mine in place, making sure that your slots line up with where the ribs are going, and that's the next step. With our center spar in place, the first thing we're going to need to do is identify all the ribs. And then I'm going to cut these out so they're actually completely different sizes, so it's completely obvious. These two are going to get laminated together. I'm just going to cut one side out, put it to one side, clean them up, and then the ribs the other side. Right, okay, as per the instructions, I have got all my ribs cut out and I've gently sanded them either side. Now, little aide-memoire here, do not remove these. So let me show you what we're going to do next. I am going to, without gluing, I'm going to add all my ribs, checking the fit the whole way down, making sure that they're all fitting, they're nice and flat, and if any resistance, stop and then get your little nail file and give them a bit of a rub. I'm going to work all the way down, and then the last two, these two, we are going to laminate these two together. Now I'm going to give you a little tip of that. when laminating these and getting the alignment, this is where the spar and the trailing edge came out of. If you literally take that off of there, you can use that as a guide, because this is the same thickness as your spar. So what you can do is that when you've got them laminated together, you can just make sure that you've got the perfect fit. They're all glued in place. Now my advice is, when you're happy, then obviously you then remove that out of the way. We've dry fitted all our ribs, we've stuck all our ribs. I've used superphatic glue. Now after they have dried, the next procedure is to remove the wing. We're going to put the trailing edge in place on the plan, just a couple of pins lightly held in place. Then we're flipping the wing upside down, and then we're adding the trailing edge to the wing upside down. I'll show you. Right, I have taken the wing off and flipped it upside down. I have the trailing edge pinned to the plan. Now, little tip here, don't try and locate from this way. My advice is actually just lift it, and then what you want to do is, when it's over the backs of those notches, slowly push the wing forward until they engage in all the slots, because that will stop the frustration of one of them accidentally binding and you can't get it in. And if you're not sure, just stop and check. So all I'm doing now is I'm just bringing this forward, because you'll find that anything that's slightly long is going to be the last thing to go in. So just take your time with this, and that'll work really well. Okay, top tip, I've got a little bit of weight just holding the whole wing in place. As I showed you, I've just jigged that back, got it in place. Now what I've done is I have just used a little bit of superphatic, and I've gone down the sides at the moment. And what I've done is I've put a fairly big fillet in, and then I've just whipped up a tissue, and I've just run down there to take the excess glue off. Now, okay, I've been in, had a cup of tea, let the glue go off. Now, if we flip this over, oh lovely, look at that. All the joints are lovely sealed. Oh, that's all nice and flush. Wow, that's gone really well. And you can see the reason for the little raised bit on the end of the rib and on the rib here, because this is where the sheeting's going to go. Oh, that has gone really superb. I'm really pleased with that. Now, tell you what I am going to do. I am very quickly just going to go round with some cyano. Outside, I'm just going to fill in all these little joints along here, and I am just going to wick some just in certain areas, being careful that I don't go anywhere where it's likely to have any sanding. But I'm really pleased with that. Right, next step. Right, okay, I have just been outside and used a little bit of this cyano from Angel Wing Designs with the little micro tips they use. And all I've done is I've just very gently just wicked a bit in the verticals of these spars, just to give it some added strength. I don't know whether it is going to help or not. Anyway, waffling. So next thing we're going to need are your two leading edges, and what you want to do is, because the way these are made, just give these a couple of wipes with some very fine emery paper, and this releases any wax that might be left on the moulds when they are extruded, and this sometimes can stop the glue bonding to it. Now we are going to need to use cyano, and they are going to sit onto here. Remembering that we're only going halfway across, they're going to fit on here like so. What I'm going to do is, that's how it fits, like so, and I am just going to cut those to length and then stick those in with Sino. Right, so that's the basic wing. I've put the carbon fibre tubes on. I've used Sino for that. It's very, very rigid now. It's, I mean, there was no misalignment on those tubes whatsoever, so I'm really pleased with that. Now, the next thing we're going to need are the fuselage sides. And in fact, one of mine has dropped out already because the look at that, the laser cutting is so good. So the next thing we're going to need are the fuselage sides. And we are also going to need the trailing edge balsa. Right, important note, which I think I ought to because I nearly had a complete mare, I've got to be honest with you, but I did save it. So this fuselage goes on the undersurface of the wing. So that's how it should look in flying. So just remember, the fuselage goes at the bottom. Oh, there was a few tears, but I managed to save it. I nearly had a right mare over that. Anyway, we're still working on the undersurface. Now the next thing we're going to do is I'll put the two fuselage sides in, and I've got one of these long sheets, and then that is going to fit on there like so. Right, so we have got our bottom sheeting in. Now, in the instructions as they are at the moment, bearing in mind this is a prototype, these 2-ply formers had lugs in, and the idea is these lugs then actually engage into these holes here. Now, having spoken to Andy, because obviously this is based on the electric version, what I should have done was possibly realise what had happened. So one is going to drop into there, and that's to support and give strength to the spar, like so. That drops in there like so. And then the other one is going to sit just here. Now actually, I've just been talking to Andy about it, and this is where the ballast box is going to go. But the other nice thing is it might be a good idea if it's not got lugs on it anyway, because if the ballast comes forward, you want this to break away anyway. So that is where the two formers go. Now, so we have done our back sheeting on the bottom. Just remember again, like I said, this is it's an underslung fuselage. Just like to remind everybody in case somebody accidentally nearly put the fuselage on upside down. So I have now cut myself a nose block. There will be one in the kit, and I am now going to add this here. I'm going to add this here like so, and then when I'm happy, so uniquely, it's a little bit of an experiment, but what's actually happening here, you'll notice that this hatch is going to fit underneath. So we are gluing this top piece here like so. That's going to get glued onto there, and this piece has these two tags which will fit onto here like so, and it will just engage in like a sort of tongue and groove type affair. So it will be interesting to see how we get on with this as a sloper. I understand the electric one does exactly the same and hasn't been an issue. So now I am going to go slightly off plan or instruction, because obviously this is the slope version, not the electric version. So I've just got my hatch with the tags just drying. I'm using alphatic. I have all my sheeting ready to go on the other side, but I'm just thinking out loud to save myself some time and save you time. this is the nose block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this nose block out, and I'm going to get this glued now, so that while this is drying I can be adding all the sheeting to the other side. Just sort of throw that out there. Okay, little update. Hatch has gone in absolutely beautifully, and it's just I just trim those just a little bit just to get those to fit, and I've also marked mine front and rear for my own benefit. But look at that, really pleased with that. So that's just going to stay in place now. So we're going to flip her over. Right, the next thing we're going to need is this bad boy, and it will need a little bit of trimming at the back, and that's going to fit in there like so. Look at that. Ooh, beautiful. So that sits on there like so, and we're going to glue that in place. The next thing we're going to need to do is to actually fit these onto here, and what it does suggest you do is just chamfer this edge. So the idea is that when we actually fit it, that the get a nice flush finish on the leading edge. What I'll do is when I've actually done one, I'll show you what it should look like. Right, let me quick show you how I've done that. That's the taper, and actually one of the most efficient ways of getting a taper is if you hold that right on the end of the bench, this bit, and then stroke that down like so, you'll end up getting a very accurate angle than doing it like that, because if you're not careful you can get slightly unbalanced. So that's going to fit on there like so. Let me just pop this in place, and then hopefully I can show you my masterpiece. So there you go, and that goes down like so. Okay, so that's the last bit of your big sheeting is going to pop in there. I just sanded mine slightly to allow for that. That's in there like so, and then this with the small slit goes into there like so. So they're the next two things you just need to glue on. Right, nose block is gluing. The rear fin mount is just gluing, and the next thing to do is these wingtips and these elevons. So the elevons, all we're going to need to do is just obviously sand that or plane this to a nice thin edge. They're quite specific in the instructions about not to leave it square, or just that end like so. But the first thing we're going to talk about is this wingtip here, and the fact that it is advised that you only cut about halfway through, because the idea is that the elevons have some natural sweep up, and it suggests in the instructions, although it's not critical, this will match this, so you can actually score this, and there are actually some pictures about it. So we're just going to possibly just score that a little, go through this line, and then just give it a little bit of a lift upwards. But I'll talk to you about it as we go through. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing with this tip. So this is the tip there, and I've got a slightly thicker line and a thinner line with the laser printing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the slightly faded area as the going on top. Now, so the idea is, got that there. You want the thickest part of this triangle is going on top, and the idea is that sits in there like so. Now, that's going to pop in there like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to cut along very gently, not all the way through, so that allows me to then just be able to crank this up slightly to measure in line with the elevons. So that you want to go up, apparently you just go 1 millimeter. It's not life or death. So the idea is when I've done that, that is then going to sit on there like so. The next thing we do before we cover is installing the servos. So I got some of these because they were doing a deal on them, which are Power HD 1370s. These, they are 3.7 grams each. I had actually ordered some metal geared servos of a slightly higher weight from the component shop, and possibly because of the postal strike they've not turned up, and I want to crack on. So that's what we've got. I think they're more than ample for the job in hand with this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue these in place. Now, well, there she is, all finished. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong one. There she is, all finished. That was the electric one, by the way. Just to give you some idea, standard Dammit, Micro Dammit. So she's all done. Got the sticker kit from Angel Wing Designs. Dead chuffed with it. She's come in at 86 grams. That's fully loaded. So I'm just going to discuss. You already know about the batteries that I'm using, and I'm just going to show you what I've done in the hatch. So there's my hatch. Remember that we're doing slightly different on the bottom. So the red packing. Little top tip here, particularly because I live at the seaside, you ever see Tesco's selling these off? These swim noodles make fantastic packaging. So let me show you what I've done. I've got a 500 single cell. Got one of these from Overlander. It's 3.7 volt, 500 milliamp hour. Now, with that, I'm measuring the CG at the moment on the spar, and we're going to have to do some playing about. And I found with this, I just needed 5 grams in the nose. So if you can just see, I can show you that. I've made a false plate in the front, so I've stuck the 5 grams, which I got in the kit for your ballast. I mean, who ballasts for 5 grams? So anyway, I stuck that in the front, but it's loose. So then the theory being is I can whack the battery in. The battery's all good to go. There's me noodle foam, cuts beautifully with a sharp knife, and then that all pops in there like so. And the other nice thing is you've got plenty of room for a receiver in the back, and we're all ready to go. Hopefully the next video you see will be me thrashing the hell out of this, or I'm going to be going where is it? Anyway, I hope you liked the build. It was something slightly different. I really enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I've got a few other interesting things coming up, some off the wall, some builds from conventional model companies, and I'll be throwing in the odd wacky one myself. Anyway, see you soon.